Check this out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Silence HD. I'm an idiot on YouTube, and this is the Thought Experiment. So, before I get started into this whole new idea that I have called the Thought Experiment, this is Rush on Cog Island, and I'm playing with my buddy Crack the Sky, and we're kind of having some issues with the enemy A10 and Chopper. So I pulled out Nigla and started doing some work there, but it didn't really end with much success. So I just let him deal with them in the frog foot, and I kind of got into the tank and did some serious defending here. So the reason why I put this up here is I went 40 or 24 and like 7 or something like that. Did really well in the tank and kind of proved that, hey, you can really change the tides of a battle in a tank as long as you got somebody who's able to hold their own up in the sky. Because for me, once I'm in a tank, if somebody's controlling the sky, like I can really focus and destroy everything that's in front of me without a problem. It's just that simple. Now, this whole idea for the thought experiment came to me when I thought about where would we be without guns? What would we be missing? Well, and I thought, okay, how far back do I have to go to get rid of guns? Basically, when gunpowder was invented, cannons were invented within 10 years of that, probably. Or it would be very shortly after. So I thought, okay, when gunpowder was invented, nobody went into cannon work, nobody went into anything like that. Now, what would that mean? Well, I think that would mean no... Well, first of all, it would be nothing involving guns. So you'd have no video game first-person shooters or third-person shooters. You'd have no shooters whatsoever in gaming. So you'd never have Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield, anything like Far Cry, nothing like that. Any kind of shooter would be gone. Now that would mean that the MLG competitions would be games like League of Legends would still be there, but you wouldn't have certain characters like Graves or Caitlyn. And on the other side, you wouldn't have StarCraft. That'd be gone. It's really crazy to think what you'd be missing. And I think to myself, okay, what would I be doing without Battlefield? I'd probably be outside working on a car. So for me, racing games are a big thing. Like Forza 4, as you guys know, I post up a whole bunch of videos from Forza 4. And if you guys like them, I'll keep posting up them as long as I have them. I don't like commentating. Sorry, belch there. Commentating over Forza stuff, but you know, it is what it is. But getting back to it, thinking about it now, okay, so now wars would be fought with the traditional weapons, axes, swords, bows and arrows. So what does that actually mean? For me, that kind of thing comes to mind now. Most types of warfare now have changed, and I think that by the time we got to the point where we could videotape, and like the first major form of videotaping wars would be, could it be earlier, because we didn't have that whole need to make weaponry such as, you know, guns and whatnot. So making a sword is a hell of a lot simpler than making a gun. So we have more people focusing on technologies like cameras, phones, computers, medicine, general education such as new sciences, all sorts of stuff. What would that mean? Would that mean that we're so much further advanced as a society, or are we now further behind? I always think, alright, if we didn't have guns, we would probably be way further ahead. We would probably have cured a few diseases by now that we currently haven't. Maybe something like AIDS or cancer, even stuff like some STDs, which are absolutely nasty. Don't get one if you can afford not to. But like, what does that mean for the world? In my opinion, that means, are guns the root of all evil? No. But what could have happened without them? Would corruption have been as impactful in third world countries? Without guns, their ability to slaughter villages would be very different. Hand-to-hand combat would break out rather than, simple shooting up an entire village. So I think maybe there's a difference in fighting. Maybe there's a difference in the way that we move forward. And I don't think guns would be completely not invented. I think that there'd be some kind of things that would be, because we still have bows and arrows. So they try and find a way to launch the arrows. But I don't know how successful they'd be. They'd probably make rapid fire crossbows or something. But you wouldn't have the same kind of devastating power that, an AK-47 has to this day. And to me, that's like, it just blows my mind where we'd be at with that video. Where we'd be at with our whole lives on that concept. Now, in making of this video, I was watching and talking to somebody earlier, or two people really. First one is the Floor Hugger, who I subscribed to recently on YouTube. Really awesome YouTuber. Has a lot of great content that she's been putting out lately, and she does quite a few live streams, which is pretty cool. Dead Space 3 live stream, which I was actually just watching not too long ago, and I'm not a huge Dead Space fan, but I don't know. I'd give it a shot now after watching her play it for half hour, almost 45 minutes. I think that's kind of cool. Now, she kind of talked to me about making commentaries, and I went, yeah, I put out a lot of gameplays. Most of that stuff, as you guys know, it's all live comms, so it's recorded on the spot, and I don't change it. Like, it's what I say is what I say. If I freak out while I'm on the microphone, I freak out while I'm on the microphone. That's it. No take two. But on here, because I like to be really OCD about how things go, I actually went through and recorded this 1, 2, 3. This is attempt number 5. So most people would be like, fuck that. And one of my attempts, I actually recorded like 15 minutes and much. And I checked the audio levels, and it was just like me screaming into the microphone. I went, no, that sucks. Alright, gotta do it again. Can't turn down the audio on that one. God damn it. So I thought, alright, now I hopefully got this one right. So I went, alright. But she kept saying to me, just do it in one shot, don't worry about it. If you screw up, you screw up. And for most people, that's fine. And I'm not saying, like, I'm better for not doing it, but I try my hardest not to screw up on the audio. Like, because of two things. One, I did actually have a professional, or not professional, but I had a sponsorship back over a year ago. This was on an old channel when I used to do a lot of Call of Duty gameplays with Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops. I was doing stuff with Game Dunzo. My old gamer time was Savvy Canuck, so if you guys did watch Game Dunzo, you definitely saw some of my videos up there. And for me, it's like, okay, I was on a 5,000 subscriber YouTube channel. I was making, some money doing it, but for me, it was more about the exposure. And I would record those gameplays 5 to 6 times before I get it right. And I think that that just sunk in with me, and I've done it ever since. And it's kind of weird. Most people would say, well, if I have a half decent one and there's like one mistake in there, I'll leave it in. And for the most part, that's what I do. Like, if I have one mistake in there, I can let it go. But for some things, like, it just bugs me, especially if the audio is boosted and you can hear me breathing in the background, like, like I just want to hear that in a video. I'm sorry if I blew out some people's mics with that, 'cause okay, sorry. But for the most part, you guys can see that I take some care when I do my videos, and so doing it in one shot, not really my style, but I'm starting to get the hang of doing it in fewer attempts. The other person who suggested it, which was Finest, or Fight Night's Finest, my apologies. I'm sorry, but I just met him today, and he kind of suggested, just do it in one attempt. As you do more of them, you'll get better. And I don't do a lot of these. I do like maybe one a week, as you guys have noticed, maybe even one every month. I don't do commentaries too often, so getting used to doing commentaries is kind of a hard thing for me to do. But if you guys do like what I'm doing with the commentaries, please feel free to comment on that. Anyways, getting back to this, no guns whatsoever. And I think for no guns, it'd mean that you guys wouldn't get to see me. As you guys know, that 90% of my videos are about guns. Hitman, Crysis 3, Bad Company. What other videos have been posting up? Oh man, there's other ones. What was the first series that I did? No, please tell me I didn't forget about it. No, I completely forgot. I did some Halo videos on there. I did some. I'm gonna do Sleeping Dogs soon. I did a couple Battlefield 3. Oh my god, I can't believe I completely forgot. Oh no, wait, I also did Assassin's Creed 3. Oh, and Medal of Honor Warfighter. Oh my god, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Medal of Honor Warfighter, which is a huge, well, okay, it's a tiny first-person shooter. Absolute failure of a video game. There's a whole bunch of things that they should have fixed in that to make it a lot better, including one of my biggest complaints, which is not being able to join up on your teammate, but I'll get into that in another commentary. So we'll see how that goes. But for the most part, this no guns deal would have completely altered history in the most, I think in the biggest way. Because if you look at the most devastating wars ever for just sheer number of kills, you look at World War I, World War II, even the wars between, within the own countries. You look at the fights between Ukraine and Russia, where 11 million Ukrainians died, and I think something like 8 million Russians died. Like, that's incredible how many people were killed by firearms. So it's just like, oh my god, what would that have been done with swords? Would you seen people running at each other, millions of people running into battle with swords and bows and axes and spears and shit like that? Who knows? So if you guys have an idea or have something that you thought maybe the best way to do this, please leave it in the comments. Leave me a comment for the next one, and I'll do some research and I'll see what kind of adverse effects it would have had on our world. But I think no guns is probably the best one to start with because it's such a hot topic. It's something that everybody knows about and everybody wants to know because of all the shootings that have happened. And I think that it's probably one of the biggest causes of suicide. It's one of the most profound ways to commit suicide for men. Women tend to either drown themselves or overdose on drugs. Men, it's usually one simple bullet straight to the temple and it's game over. And I say that lightly because I do happen to know somebody who took their own life with a handgun, and it was absolutely devastating. So I don't use that lightly, but when I do say, like, when it comes to guns, people use them to kill people far more than they want to admit. And guns today, yes, a lot of them are used in hunting in North America, but over in Africa and the Middle East, guns are not used for hunting, and you can't argue that they are. They are definitely, hunting people. They're used as a weapon of killing people. So for me, having no guns or having guns, I've been around guns, I've handled guns, I've owned guns. I'm not against having them. However, I am against some stuff along the lines of having having people jump out and shoot you. I'm completely against that, obviously. But if you guys did like this, please leave a like, favorite, and as always, my name's SilenceHD, I'm an idiot on YouTube, and subscribe for more, guys. Peace.
hostile soldier in your area. They have defused the charge.
Enemy soldier spotted. Over. Enemy soldier spotted. Over.